Okay guys, let's find out how Aston Martin was persuaded to build a not-existing car, especially for the 24th Bond movie. Spectre. There is a car in this film that was never sold to a single customer. Not one. Built by hand, driven on screen, then locked away forever. And it goes head-to-head with a machine that cost over $1 million to build. A car that was officially dead for 3 years before someone decided to resurrect it for one single chase scene. The car that does the resurrecting? You'll have to wait for it. Let's look at all the brutal cars actually on screen in Spectre and why every single choice matters. Before we talk about who drives it, understand what this car actually is. The Aston Martin DB5 started life as a concept sketch for the next generation V8 Vantage. Aston Martin's CEO at the time later confirmed the design was only a sketch on the Aston Martin office wall when Eon Productions came knocking for a new Bond car. The two projects merged, and what you see on screen is a hand-built prototype constructed at Aston Martin's Gaydon headquarters. A car that previewed the design language that would directly shape the DB11 in 2016 and the new V8 Vantage in 2017. The exact words of Aston Martin's chief creative officer were, "The DB10 is a predator, which is what I wanted it to be, because Bond is a predator." Mechanically, the carbon fiber exoskeleton sits on Aston's V8 platform, the same architecture underpinning the 2005 V8 Vantage. Running a 4.7-liter V8 paired to a 6-speed manual gearbox. But the proportions are stretched. Wider stance, longer wheelbase, a roofline that draws closer to the 177 than anything in the standard Vantage lineup. In Spectre, Q built it for 009. That is, before Bond steals it anyway. The rear-mounted flamethrower functions. The machine guns, as Bond discovers mid-chase, were never loaded. Later on in the video, we'll tell you about the car, which is also known as Bigfoot. But first, you'll meet the villain's car, which is of a whole different league. This car chasing him through Rome is something far more interesting. A car that should have gone into production, nearly did, then disappeared entirely, until Spectre brought it back from the dead. Here is a car that was officially dead. The Jaguar C-X75 debuted at the 2010 Paris Motor Show as a gas turbine-powered electric hypercar. The reception was extraordinary. Jaguar committed to a limited production run, built working prototypes, brought in Williams Advanced Engineering as a partner, and invited journalists to drive pre-production versions. Then, in 2012, the plug was pulled. Financial pressures, shifting priorities. The CX-75 program was cancelled entirely. 3 years later, they built 7 of them for Spectre. Not the original hybrid. The film versions were engineered around a space frame built to World Rally Championship specification, powered by a 1.6-liter 4-cylinder engine, turbo and supercharged to make 502 horsepower, and then bolstered by lightweight electric motors on either axle, producing another 194 horsepower each. A P-racing brakes adjustable from the cabin, Recaro seats, a hydraulic handbrake engineered specifically for the Rome cobblestones, 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 3 seconds. Top speed on the stunt versions, 200 miles per hour. That's definitely Jaguar at its best. One example was constructed to be entirely fireproof. Another was fitted with a roof-mounted external control pod, so a stunt driver could operate the car from above while the actor focused solely on performance. Before release, Formula One driver Felipe Massa drove one around the circuit Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City ahead of the 2015 Grand Prix. A car built for a movie, lapping an F1 track. That's how seriously Williams took the build. In production form, the CX-75 would have cost over $1 million. It would have sat alongside the Porsche 918 and LaFerrari. Instead, 7 examples exist, all built for a single chase through Rome. Mr. Hinks drives it. The car deserves better than him. So that is the villain's car. Now look at what Bond reaches for when the mission escalates. Forget modern performance figures for a moment. The 1964 Aston Martin DB5 runs a 4.0-liter inline-six producing 282 horsepower through a 4-speed manual gearbox. By today's standards, those numbers belong to a hot hatch. But no one has ever looked at a DB5 and thought about numbers. Styled by Carrozzeria Touring Superleggera in Milan and hand-assembled in Newport Pagnell, England, the DB5 is widely regarded as one of the most proportionally perfect automobiles ever built. Aston Martin has called it the most famous car in the world. In the context of this franchise, that claim is difficult to argue with. It has appeared in more Bond films than any other vehicle. In Spectre, Bond drives it to Rome. Not the DB10. Not something newer, the DB5. The choice to bring it back isn't mechanical, it's emotional. It connects Spectre to every Bond film that came before it. Strip away the glamour of Rome and the Austrian Alps demands something different entirely. The Range Rover Sport SVR is powered by a supercharged 5.0-liter V8 producing 550 horsepower. Top speed, 162 miles per hour. Built by Jaguar Land Rover's Special Vehicle Operations Division, the same team responsible for the most extreme road-going Land Rovers ever produced. The film versions were extensively modified for high-altitude mountain terrain. 9 of them were stolen from a JLR facility in Germany before a single frame had been shot. A theft worth approximately €800,000 that made international headlines. Production continued with replacements. Land Rover supplied 23 vehicles in total, including Defenders fitted with 37-inch 395/70 off-road tires. Yes, you heard that right. Furthermore, reinforced bodywork, upgraded suspension, and internal cannon systems capable of rolling the vehicles on command in 4 feet of snow. Without CGI, every flip, every skid, every impact captured for real on the Austrian mountain roads. I assume I don't have to explain why this Land Rover Defender SVX is casually known as Bigfoot. And then there's this, the most powerful statement in the film. The Rolls-Royce Silver Wraith is not measured in horsepower figures. It runs a 4.9-liter inline-six engine built in an era where refinement mattered more than output. Smooth, unhurried, and entirely without aggression. Produced from 1946 to 1958, the Silver Wraith was Rolls-Royce's flagship model for over a decade. Coach built to individual specification, no 2 examples identical. This is not a car for men who chase. This is a car for men who have already arranged the outcome. A machine that communicates status, not through performance, but through presence. It doesn't need to be fast. It never needed to be fast. The Silver Wraith was chosen for what it communicates, and in 1958, there was nothing on Earth that communicated it louder. Franz Oberhauser's chauffeur arrives in the desert in a 1958 Silver Wraith and steps out unhurried. The car tells you everything you need to know about Franz Oberhauser. And for those of you who know, this takes us all the way back to Bond movie number 2, From Russia with Love. One prototype never sold. One hypercar brought back from the dead. One 60-year-old Grand Tourer that still outclasses everything around it on presence alone. Spectre may have the most deliberately chosen car lineup in the history of all Bond movies, and every single vehicle earns its place. That's it for now. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to Real Talk. That way you won't miss the next video we have prepared for you. See you on the next one.